when I started, I was competing for these smaller events, local events. Like there were so many, you know, you just hear there is a pageant.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a pageant. You run. You don't even have heels.
Yes.
You get to the venue and then ask someone, can I use your heels? And then you go there, you're like stumbling on the runway. So
sometimes you go to a pageant and don't win, and people give up their dream. Some people have gone into 10 pageants, and probably the last one that they're saying, this is the last one and it's the biggest pageant, then they win. Going back to the Bible, we see the story of Esther. And for me, that was the first beauty queen. When I judge a pageant, all the things that the king looked for in Esther is what we look for.
It is a long journey. It is a process. So you have to listen to yourself, what comes from within, understand what your thoughts are telling you, ideas.
Every year, there are about 1.2 billion to 2 billion to 3 billion that watch Miss World and Universe every year. That can only be compared to closing and opening of the Olympics and World Cup.
If I would reverse the clock, oh my God, I'd really want to work on my body. I'd really want to work on my body and coming up with a good pageant. Like, what next after you crown me?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SASH STYLE, Season 2, Episode 5. Today, we cannot just thank God more getting into this space. And our viewers at home, we thank you so much for making this a success. Those who have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to make this keep moving. And today, we have a beautiful guest. This guest, I don't know how to introduce her. She's going to do the introduction, then you can pick her story from here. Mrembo, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I would like you to introduce yourself to our beautiful audience.
Okay. So my name is Faith Wanyama. I am a fashion and commercial model. I am the current Miss Earth Kenya, outgoing Miss Earth Kenya, who represented Kenya in Philippines last year in November and bagged the Best in Heritage Attire Bronze Award. I'm a talented singer. I love dancing. I love acting, and I am a sustainability advocate. I champion environmental preservation and conservation, and I'm interested in volunteering, personal development, spiritual growth, and my intentions are to see people thrive through time management.
Wow, beautiful eloquence. I cannot catch up as a host. You are multi-talented. Today we're just going to discuss a little about your talent, but we're basically going to do a lot of discussion on your pageantry journey. When did you discover you have the talent of pageantry or fashion?
Okay, it was way back in 2017. I met a guy. He was a friend of mine, and initially I didn't have the passion for modeling, but then he saw that.
When you say a guy, you met a man who liked you, or just
no,
a gentleman?
He was a friend of mine.
Yes.
And then in that year, in December, they were organizing a pageant locally, and then they didn't have models, and then I was so told, but then I didn't have the passion for modeling. He told me that he wants me to join the pageant that they were organizing. I told him I don't have the passion, and then he told me, you have the height, you have to come, I will dress you. So I went, and then in my first attempt I won. So this is how my passion developed. I started contesting for modeling every December, because back then I was in high school. So
where is this?
In Busia County.
Oh, good,
yeah,
great.
It was called Miss Samia Sub-County. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people believe for you to be a model, you have to be tall. Because this guy met you and was like, oh, you're tall. So tell us about this. There's a lot about sizes in pageantry. Can you explain to us, can anyone just be a model? Because sometimes we see some short people on the catwalk. Could you just educate our viewers? Those guys were interested in doing pageantry, organizing pageantry, yes.
I think those are just beauty standards. I don't think that height or your size determines whether you're a model or not. But then it also depends on the type of modeling that you're joining. I have so many types of modeling. And if you are contesting for an international event, then automatically you have to have that height, because when you go out there, there are those height limitation when it comes to body size. So it depends with the type of modeling you're joining.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Just to add to what she's saying, one of the things, every pageant has different rules. And I think the 4 major pageants, Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss Earth, Miss International, the size is 5.8 and above. Then you cannot break rules, but sometimes you find rules are broken. So like, for example, they need you to be 24, 36, 24, 36, 36. That's, but sometimes you find you don't have all those. So I keep giving guys example, like one of the recent best Miss World Kenya is Magdalene, who was 5'6" or 5'5", and made it in the top 10 in 2017. So probably she had an extra factor for height not to be an issue, but the rest of the things were there. So you will not lose an opportunity to become a beauty queen in the big pageants. But again, in the past 10, 15 years, there have been so many pageants that have come, plus size, you've seen kids on the catwalk, and no rules.
Yeah.
So again, anyone can be a model. Like our guest has said, there's a lot of modeling. There's advertising, there's fashion, there's just runway, pageantry, which I say. Pageantry and modeling is like water and oil. In pageantry, you must be a leader.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, you're Miss Earth. There's an advocacy that you need to do as a beauty queen. So you can't just be a beauty queen because you're beautiful and you have the crown. So tell us about your advocacy.
Okay, my advocacy is called Sustainable Poverty Alleviation. And actually, this is what made me join Miss Earth, because of my advocacy. The goals were aligning. So here we aim to alleviate poverty at a grassroots level locally. And I mainly do it at Busia County. Last year, I did my first edition. So we do it via donating gently used shoes and clothes to these families that do not have access to. So here I'm trying to promote the recycle, reduce, and reuse pillar of the earth. Yeah.
Wow.
And also alleviating poverty. So it's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. You alleviate poverty and then you preserve the environment.
Great.
Yeah.
The world is talking about environment. It's global warming. Our president is saying, I think they want to do 100 million trees by the end of this year or next year. But one thing I know, there's tree planting and everybody wants to plant trees, which I don't believe. If I do 100 trees and I don't take care of them, it's just a PR activity.
Yeah.
As a beauty queen who is representing the environment and the earth, Mother Earth, I was talking to Japanese and they grow trees. They don't plant trees the way we do planting. Are you working on something where we know if today I plant 50 trees, I'll come back after 2 years or 1 year to check out, are they growing? Or the sun wasn't, the rain didn't come and they died. So we can plant. The president says we want to do 100 million.
Yeah.
But will they survive the test of time? What are you doing as a beauty queen who is deeply, everybody's doing everything, planting trees, Miss World, Miss Earth, everyone. But you are the person with that title that directly is involved in global warming and a lot of saving the world today.
Okay, I can say that there is a tree that I planted. Let me just give you an example.
Yes.
I planted way back at home. It was a very long time ago. And it's been like 2 years now. And it's super healthy because I take care of it. And also when you come to my house and also outside my house, there are a lot of seed beds when it comes to plants and trees. So I'd really want to implore each and every person that when you're planting your tree, just have that initiative to try and take care of it, to ensure that it grows. Yeah.
You said you did a tree many
Yeah.
years back.
Yeah.
So your dream for the environment didn't start yesterday when you got the crown.
Not really.
Wow.
Even the aspect of recycle, I do a lot of DIY upcycling and recycling. It started when I was in my grade 6. There is this time when your mom just buys you clothes and then you feel like, no, they're super ugly or they're old, and then you want to cut them and create something totally different. So this is how it all started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to keep listening to you. Very interesting conversation today. One of the things that I realize, most of us as human, we don't listen to ourselves. But when you start listening to yourself, then things start moving.
Yeah.
Did you get to a point where you started listening to yourself? And at what point was this? And how did it change your entire life?
Okay. I realized that I started listening to myself when I just started understanding myself, being self-aware and just authentic to myself, because it is a long journey. It is a process. So you have to listen to yourself, what comes from within, understand what your thoughts are telling you, your ideas. So that is how it all started, like the calling of recycling, being an environmental champion. I listened to it and I came to join Miss Earth as a sustainability advocate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spoke about going to represent Kenya in the Philippines. The world today does Philippines as a beauty pageant powerhouse. I see them following their queens wherever part of the world that event is happening. This time you are home at the Philippines, where pageantry is food, religion, everything for them. How was it at that auditorium when that beauty queen from Philippines walked on that stage?
It was, I would say that it was a bit of challenge. You'll see her and then you're like, oh my goodness. Like not her alone, like other beauty queens from other countries, a lot of countries out here are really supporting their queens, in terms of training, in terms of everything. So it was a bit of a challenge, but just, the passion, whatever, you just realize, you just try and understand what brought me here, and then you focus on it.
Wow.
So it didn't like bag me down, Yeah.
You're ready for it.
Yeah, I was super ready.
I know Miss Earth is the third biggest pageant in the world. Started almost 30 years after Miss World and Miss Universe. That was in 2000 by a Filipino. I think her name is Strat, the owner of Miss, because I've interacted with her for some time. I've judged Miss Earth 2 times during the pandemic, 2021 and 2020. And unfortunately, or fortunately, this was the only pageant that never took a break during the pandemic.
It continued.
It continued. Did you ever get to meet the president or the daughter, the marketing for Miss Earth, and jog their brain? How did they come up with the concept?
I only met them once. Like it was so rare to meet them.
Yes,
We
yes.
only met in a hotel when we were having our dinner. And then she came to me, now the CEO, she came to me like, you're from Kenya, I don't know, my cousin has been to Kenya, that. Like she was in a hurry, and then we were organized into 4 groups. So each group was operating on their own, the other on their own. So it was so tricky to meet them. Yeah, you were just having a group leader. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were taught sometimes if you want something, you have to get it.
Yeah.
The principle of 30-second pitch where I'm with you, President Ruto, and I want it now. Otherwise, the opportunity is gone. So at least you got to meet her, which is amazing. Very interesting again. I know of the 4 international pageants that Kenya has performed the best is Miss Earth. In 2002, Winnie Mwakwe was first runners-up Miss Earth International. Was crowned after they decrowned Miss Earth and got the crown for about 8 months, which makes me proud and happy to be part of pageantry. How how is it, like you said, she realized you're from Kenya already.
Yeah.
How's the reception, the welcome when they see that black girl? Because in the pageant, you find the 5 big pageants. There'll be like 3 or 10 only girls from Africa. Then you feel out of place because you're different color from the rest. How did it affect you at the pageant?
Like, okay, you feel like a celeb. Once you get to the airport, you're like a celeb.
Yes.
Oh my God, Kenya, And then I had a bald head. So everyone wanted to take a picture with me. And, it was like sort of a culture shock because I'm not used to this. Like everyone, oh my God, selfie, selfie, selfie. But then I got used to it. Yeah. Because in our group, we were 3 black. Yeah, we were 3 blacks. So it was,
Yeah. What would you advise? And this goes to the government. When you arrive there and everyone is seeing Kenya and they're excited about seeing, 1, the black girl, 2, the country Kenya. How can we take advantage of interacting with the government to understand that when you get to that international stage, it's not Faith anymore. It's not Wairimo, it's not Cherono. It's Kenya. Like you said in your first interaction, a lot of countries support their people.
Yeah.
Kenya has not gotten to that stage to understand pageantry is very strong and can help us market or do tourism marketing out of this. How would you advise? You met a lot of probably 60 to 100 girls from different countries. And I mean, if we went with the flyers, they may not come, but they talk to their people about this outgoing Kenyan girl.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for the ministry?
I feel like it should be a sport just like any other, just the way the government supports sports in terms of athletics and football. I think pageantry should be like number 2 or number 3, because let me use this example, like Miss Earth Liberia. The moment she won, she was employed by the government, and then they're the one handling her project. She's invited me. She's inviting 10 other delegates from Africa and outside Africa to go to the country, and the government is the one funding. So I was talking to her the other day, and then she was like, you don't get support from your government or something. And then I was like, it's a hard story. Like, let's say, for instance, for us, like Miss Earth, we really tried to seek support from the government. Even the ticket, we just buy it on our own, we rarely get support. So I feel like it should be a priority.
I agree with you 100% that a lot of countries are supported by the country. I remember the current minister for youth, Botswana, was in Miss World, Lejo, and when she didn't win and she went back home, she was appointed as a cabinet minister representing the youth. And I think that's why the southern part of Africa are doing very well internationally. South Africa, Botswana, Angola, Namibia, they performed very well in the past because of that support. I know it was when devolution started, 2014, 2013, Miss Tourism was very big because it was supported by the county governments. I remember in 2014, I did Miss Kwale, and the governor was the current minister for culture and tourism. I think I need to speak to him. He spent so much and understood what pageantry can bring. Now, when you discuss about sports, it's key that a lot of guys my age and above do not understand the importance of pageantry. I just give a small brief history. Miss World and Miss Universe, historically, record that is there. Every year, there are about 1.2 billion to 3 billion that watch Miss World and Miss Universe every year. That can only be compared to closing and opening of the Olympics and World Cup, which comes after 5 years. This comes every year. So if you do that arithmetic, that means the pageant is bigger than football. So when our African countries discover that they can get a lot of publicity on trying just to spend a little money, there's a spending in millions to just give this girl who goes to represent the country out there, then we'll be in good place.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think because the crown, they may not listen to me because I don't have a crown, but you can walk into KICC and somebody will stop you because you have a crown. We need to get beauty queens very strong, and you can stop a minute and say, this is what we need to do in the 30-second pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so still on Miss Earth, again, I think after your franchise holder took it over, at least there's been consistent. And this I think is the second pageant that has consistency, because Miss World have been there for Miss World Kenya has been there for 25 years. Miss University was back. They're having problems. I don't know whether they're going to continue and stuff. But again, I think we're letting ourselves down. I've seen you guys doing very good marketing in terms of 2025 representation. You're almost giving out the crown.
Yeah.
How does it feel being there? The year is moving so fast. Serious. How is it?
Oh, it feels like yesterday. July was just yesterday. You know, I feel like it's really moving too fast. But then, based on whatever I've done, especially in terms of my project, in terms of mentoring, even my soon-to-be predecessors, I feel like I'm super fulfilled to hand over the crown once July 20th is here.
Oh, wow.
So it's an incredible journey. Yeah.
So do you ever regret anything getting this crown? Are there those times when you go home and your project is not working, or you've done a proposal and you're like, oh my goodness, did I have to do this?
Obviously, there is that. There are those moments of self-doubt, you know, why am I doing this? Is it even worth it? But then when you remember why you started it, like I really don't regret it. Even I had to defer my studies, but then I don't regret it because it is, I call it God's timing.
Wow.
It was meant to happen at this time.
Great.
Yeah.
I love.
So I don't really
you don't regret at all.
Yeah.
I love that part of defer. When I organized Miss World for 4 years. That's 99 to 2001. So you guys can tell my ear, I'm a mzee, guka. But anyone that won Miss World then would not be allowed to be employed anywhere else or to go to school. So one of the things we do is employ you at our secretariat. So you have all the time to work with the secretariat and make it happen. Because, for example, if you didn't defer, you have exams, so some responsibility you might not be able to do and stuff.
Sure.
Or then you are divided. So I think when now people realize how important it is, people just think it's just putting the crown. And I've realized everybody's doing a pageant, so it dilutes the big pageant that have purpose and stuff. So I think one of the things that you need to advocate for us is this crown is not just to be put on the head. It's heavy. Why do you want something heavy in your head? So we need to realize that it's important to achieve our goals and make the world a different place. And that's why Pageantry was started. So some people might think you just got into pageant like this. Give us your history in pageant. Have you ever won another pageant? How far have you been? Because people decide, I want to do a pageant and win it today. Sometimes you go to a pageant and don't win, and people give up their dream. Some people have gone into 10 pageants, and probably the last one that they're saying, this is the last one and this is the biggest pageant, then they win. So give us your story about your journey in pageantry.
Okay, so when I started, I was competing for these smaller events, local events. Like there were so many, you know, you just hear there is a pageant. Yeah, there is a pageant. You run. You don't even have heels. You get to the venue and then ask someone, can I use your heels? And then you go there, you're like stumbling on the runway. So it was not that serious. But then it got serious in 2019 when I started contesting for Miss KU. Yeah, Kenyatta University. I never won. Even the smaller, the inter pageants in the school, I never won. And in, when did I win? In 2023. Yeah, I won Miss Kenyatta University after a very long time of trying and trying. People were telling me, okay, stop. It's enough. It's enough. Don't go for Miss KU again. Just go for outside, other pageants outside. But then I said I want to be Miss KU. Yeah, I won Miss KU, and then after that I was in Beauty of Africa. So I was also undecided. I was in Beauty of Africa, I was in Miss Earth Kenya. You know, I was so confused. You know, it is okay for someone to be confused at some point in life. But then, the very time I was Miss KU, I went to Miss Earth Kenya and I won. So, Yeah,
because I know I've been doing Miss and Miss University, and I know the intent that Kenyatta University put into pageantry, and I think this artistic nature came from the former vice chancellor. His name was Shiwani, who made sure talent was it. I think that time, I think you're in primary school when I was there. These were the ridiculous, the Nyambanes, the former MP for W South, KJ, was also KU alumni who changed the comedy world with imitating the president, Daniel Arap Moi, then. But at that time, this was big in KU. The vice chancellor would come for Miss and Miss University just to support their students. And they put a lot of money towards building the pageantry career. I remember in 2013, 2014, 15, 3 years in a row, KU won. In fact, at some point, the other deans were like, no, Leakey, these guys must be paying you and stuff. I was like, no, they just do their job well towards crowning the winner. So again, what you're trying to tell the people at home is never give up if you believe you can actually do it.
Exactly.
She started with Miss Samia. I know some village near my home there in Bosia. Then came to KU, did a lot of trials, didn't make it, and made it at long last, and became Miss Earth, the 4th biggest international pageant in the world. Congratulations, Faith.
Thank you.
My other question to you is, we live in a world where there's a lot of hypocrisy, brother killing brothers. I watch the news today and every other day, and there's just negativity. You as a beauty queen, if you're to be given an opportunity to create one law that will change the world, what would it be and why?
Okay, you're talking to an environmentalist, you know.
Yes, yeah.
It will be mandating everyone to grow trees. Like, it is a mandate. You have to plant this number of trees in your home and ensure that they grow successfully. Very important.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I keep telling my people, we got an opportunity to grow in a beautiful environment, hear the sounds of the birds from those trees. We're doing a generation where we're killing the trees. What will be our children and grandchildren enjoy when they don't have fresh air? So we advise people at home, make sure if you can do it, just do one tree on your birthday and let the faiths and the environmentalists help us plant trees in this country. It looks like a cliche. Politicians, I think, now they're talking about tree planting. A few years ago, they said it's only God and the rains that do trees. So again, let's forget about politics. Let's do care of our brother next. A lot of times, people have complained about the judges, the winners. You've been, like I said, in many pageants. Is there a time when you felt, apapana, those judges were unfair to me?
Yeah.
Yes. How was it? Where was it?
Like, I can't really remember it like that much. But then it was just a local event. You know how local events can be. They just bring people who they don't even have experience. They just sit there. Some of them are just villagers, and then they are judging you. They don't even have much knowledge. So that is how I felt. And then, you know, after a pageant, people start talking, you know what? They gave her because, you know, the rumors, yeah. And then one day you're a kid, so you just fall for it. You also start talking. Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that has killed pageantry, and we can't deny it, there's corruption in terms of judges we're dealing with a very sensitive part of humanity. Judges want to get, to lay the girls. Judges want to be corrupted. I mean, the world is corrupted. And like I said, the people who don't understand pageantry. In fact, 90% of the people organizing pageantry in this country don't understand pageantry. So they might be judging fashion show, thinking it's a pageant. Pageant's about leadership. In your introduction, talk about spirituality. In religion, doesn't matter which religion. There's something called love. There's unity, and just beautiful leadership. Like going back to the Bible, we see the story of Esther, and for me, that was the first beauty queen. When I judge a pageant, all the things that the king looked for in Esther is what we look for. So again, I would like you to enlighten the viewers. What does it take to be a beauty queen? I tell guys, there's a thin line between pageantry and the rest of the modeling. Yes, I want you to discuss pageantry.
Just like you said, that aspect of leadership and the confidence to be a leader. And this, it really radiates from within. So it takes what's inside you for you to be a beauty queen. Can you influence someone to follow whatever you are doing in a positive way? Yeah, that's who a beauty queen is.
Oh, yes.
And that is what it takes.
You're back to Kenya from Philippines. You're picked at the airport. What next? You're done. You've gone in Kenya. You've gone and won a title in Philippines. You're back. What's your first duty or responsibility or role that the organizer or the franchise holder is saying, now, you're a queen. You're our brand. You need to take over this mantle. Because it's just 1 year. Like you said, 1 year has moved so fast.
Yeah.
What did you do after coming back?
Okay. She organized me to go into a panel talking about sustainable fashion, and what was the name? I can't really remember the name, but I was in that panel. We were talking about sustainable fashion, and then there was also a fashion show, rather a runway show on the same sustainable fashion that she organized me to walk the runway. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're done and you're feeling, I have to crown someone. My time is gone too fast. Would you want to reverse the clock back? And what would it be that you felt, if I knew it then, when I was crowned, I would do much better during my reign? What is that something that I think you've learned towards the end of your reign? They say, if I was able to do this earlier, then I would have made the best Miss Earth that has ever been in Kenya.
Okay, let me talk in terms of international competition. If I would reverse the clock, oh my God, I'd really want to work on my body. I'd really want to work on my body. I'd really want to work on my skin, because I know whatever they were looking for, but then I came to realize when I got there that this is someone that they are looking for. Yeah, I'd really want to be that petite, like, yeah.
Great. One of the things that she said is that small, little, tall model, which the 4 international are looking for. And the international will not forgive you if
they don't.
So, what is the hardest thing you've done to be who you are today? What is that hardest thing you've done?
Okay.
Apart from doing Miss KU for those many times, yes.
I know. The hardest thing is navigating through the moments of self-doubt. Every time you wake up and then you're like, God, do I really have to do this? Is it worth it? But then it takes resilience it takes hard work. So I think that is the hardest thing. Even the time that I was crowned, you know, people can't really talk. People can really talk, and then you start crying like, God, why me? Why did you have to give me the crown? If you know people are gonna talk. If you know I wouldn't be able to garner more support when I'm going out there. So that is the hardest thing.
Yeah, because I think one of the things you must understand, maybe during my generation it wasn't that bad. Social media has changed everything. There are a lot of people who want to bash you and say negative stuff about you because probably they didn't win or they expected somebody else to win and stuff like that. And it's not just in pageantry, in music, in football. People feel they're better than other people.
Yeah.
Pageant is very sensitive because people believe there's too much flesh into it. Many parents do not allow their kids, leave alone their kids, even their teenagers, to get into pageantry. How did your family, parent, take it when you said you're going into Miss Samia? We're in KU, probably at that point they'd already taken, probably they'd already gotten to know it's something that will develop you and give more, let you do what you're interested in. How do they take it? Some parents are very negative about it. How are your parents when you got into Miss Samia very young, stuff like that?
Okay, I want you to imagine this. You have a daughter who is in Form 3, and then she's out there at night. You know, pageants happen at night. She's out there at night. So it was so hard, especially for my dad. There is a point he came for me personally at around 10. I'm wearing my traditional attire. I'm supposed to go and say, he told me, we are going back home. I hate to leave the pageant. So it was so hard. My dad came to accept. Last year when I told him that now I'm flying to Philippines, and then I was like, oh, okay, so this thing can really take you to bigger places, and then he started accepting. But for my mom, she was okay with it. My third pageant, she was okay. She was like, okay, just go. It is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also when we started pageantry in the late 90s, we would hardly get even the university students to get into pageantry because parents and community, leave alone the parents, the community did not accept it. So apart from your parents not accepting it, or maybe they accept it, but people will be talking behind the back.
Yeah.
You know, something about these slim young girls are looking for opportunity to be seen by white people and taken out there. And that, in short, they're trying to say these are prostitutes.
Exactly.
They're failures. And luckily for us, the first queen that won was a first class honors in economics from the University of Nairobi. So that kept changing. And today we are seeing even parents letting their young kids get into pageantry. And I think that's what's happening in South America, India, Philippines, where there were a big support in pageantry because with age they've accepted. South Africa doing it and stuff like that. So again, parents who are at home, let your kids do what they want in terms of talent, provided they're doing the right thing. So you're crowning this next queen thereafter. What are you planning to do to help this person, or just grow them as a pageant?
I really plan to continue working with the franchise. We are even in group. We still work with former queens that were crowned the other year. So that is my plan, and just to continue my project, involve them where necessary, involve the current queen, you know, and also mentor her into what's required of her when she goes out there, you know, because I wish somebody told me.
Great. Because I know, like you said, at that point in time, you're not sure whether it's Miss Earth or Beauty of Africa. You just want Miss KU. A lot of times, I tell people it's not about how beautiful in and out you are, but it's the grace of God that you get that crown, because any of the three of you who are there are qualified. The only thing that is going to happen on the night is your time has come and God is giving you that crown.
Exactly.
Sometimes we forget. When we are blessed, we forget about giving back to just saying thanks to God. I'm happy that you still strongly believe in religion and spirituality. Sometimes most of our models are carried away. They say you cannot get them in church. You must go and get them out. In fact, Jesus said, go and get them out there. He told the disciple, go out. I'm thinking we need to get the queens that are spiritually strong, maybe Muslim, Christian, but trying to push these young people and tell them it's not about the flesh, it's about your spirit and leadership, and all those come together. I don't know when you're going to speak. I mean, when I was doing pageantry, the big pageantry, every other weekend we are called by schools to go and just talk, universities to go and talk to the young ones. Have you got an opportunity where you break the barrier? Most people, when they get to a place, they're scared of talking about their faith. Are you in that position where, apart from talking about the environment, because they say God is the one who brought the water and the plants and the animals, do you get that opportunity where you mix your title and spirituality?
Most of the times. I mentioned one or two, just a few things about God and spirituality. Most of the time, because I don't want to feel like I'm preaching,
Yeah, because for example, every other time I'm not shy to say the first queen was Esther in the Bible. And I don't go into scripture to tell about. But people will go home and say, what does that guy talk about? This guy must be Korah talking. And they go back and see the journey of Esther and her leadership as a beauty queen. So if you were to advise the government, you mentioned about sports. Kenya was playing Gambia, I think 2 days ago, and the support came from the government, the tickets and stuff like that. These are about 20 guys paid for tickets. We find it very difficult to give one queen a ticket to certain part of the world. What would you advise the President, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Youth, for us to be an opportunity to push this narrative of this talent that has been there for almost 80 years now? Miss World was founded in 1951. It's almost 100 years.
I would say that modeling is just a talent like any other. It's a talent and it demands a lot. Like this girl that you want to support, she is a leader and she is carrying Kenya across her heart. When she goes out there, she is Kenya. She is not her name, but she is Kenya. So you really, really want to support her. You really want to buy that ticket to support her.
Yeah, so there are young people there, their parents watching this, and they've not understood what pageantry is all about. What should you advise a parent, that young girl who wants to get into pageantry? She's walked round and round, probably gotten those con men, and she's frustrated, or probably she went to a pageant, she was asked for favors, and she was like, this is not my thing. What would you advise? You've been in pageants, and I'm happy today because you're in this state. You've been to so many pageants. Probably at some point, somebody was asking you, if you don't do this, we can't. What would you advise?
Okay, like I said, pageantry demands a lot, and it also takes what you bring out to just be your best self. And I would say that focus on your self-awareness, realize your full strengths, your potential, your weaknesses, your values, And secondly, preparation is key, whether it is acing that catwalk, the question and answer, but also don't forget the mental aspect, because like I said, confidence radiates from within and it takes your mental health. And last but not least, focus on the journey, not the destination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You had focus on the destination.
Journey, not destination.
Not destination.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I find a lot of people forgetting when they get titles, when they get leadership. they'll say very sweet things to get into leadership, but after that they forget. What happens the next election? Somebody else is put because they realize you didn't do it well. So I think it's the same thing with pageantry. That's why I say there's a lot of connection on leadership. Oh, Willie Queen, she did nothing. She was just there to look nice and forgot about it. So I think as a beauty queen, you must be able to articulate your project, make sure the world knows exactly why you have that thing in your head. The other thing I want to ask is, I sometimes find it crazy because I see a model with almost 5 sachets of the same year. Let's say 2025, she's Miss, let's say Club Flani, she's Miss Odera, she's Miss University, she's Miss Earth, she's Miss, in 1 year. I feel it's strange because you cannot be able, because every pageant has like Miss Earth, I know, is beautiful for a cause. Miss Universe is beautiful for purpose. And they all have their causes in terms of now trying to help the queen establish what they want to push for. You'll not be a president for 5 countries. He'll be exhausted.
Yeah.
What would you advise these young people to do to make sure they're effective in terms of branding, number one? You cannot be a Fanta and beer at the same time. You must be one. So what would you advise these young people that want titles and titles? And this is what leads to, I know if I sleep with the ABCD, I'll get a title. If I give so much money, I'll do ABCD, which kills the original objective of pageantry.
I think the main reason is models not realizing their calling, you know, like going to, or rather winning 5 pageants in a row, like in a year. Most of them focus on the money, like the awards that they're gonna get. Assuming today there is Miss Nairobi, tomorrow there is Miss Machakos, so grand prize here is 20K. So someone is really budgeting. It's sort of a business, you know. But I feel like go to a pageant that has a cause, you know, just stay true to your core, realize what you really advocate for, and then go to that pageant. And then in terms of branding, you know, when you have this one pageant, one title that you're holding, for branding can be really, really easy as compared to when you have a lot of titles, because you can't work for me, work for Mr. Leakey, work for at the same time. It's so tricky.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Every pageant has the rules and obligations. So if you're working for your boss and you're working for somebody else, they want their things done. So I'm calling you, you're the one person. I want you and your boss, the other boss wants you. So you'll be divided. You either lie to someone, to one of them, because you don't have time to be at the same time. Number 2, I keep telling the queens, and I give an example of football, because football is the only sport that matches pageantry. You cannot play for Arsenal and play for Manchester at the same season. It's a contract that is signed. So I like the advice that you must be able to play one game at the same time. So queens, you cannot have 2 crowns at the same time. You cannot wear 2 crowns. Let me say that. You can wear 10 sachets, but you cannot wear 2 crowns.
And also, it also depends on the organizers coming up with a good pageant. Like, what next after you crown me this title? What next? Because I can't sit where there is no value. Like, I just have the crown in the sachet. So what? You know, I'll go to another pageant. I think that's what happens most of the time.
Yeah, so when you find people with different titles, they're Miss Bars.
Yeah.
So bar want to sell their beers. They don't care about the title. So if you want to be just a title holder without a brand, they have more than that. But like somebody was complaining, you cannot do a pageant in a bar. So selling them, for example, most of the pageants that are carnival, it's a bar. Is the mentality, what do you want to achieve? I can do my pageant in the street Kenyatta Avenue or Nairobi. That become the biggest pageant because of the purpose of the pageant.
Yeah.
So again, the most important is, what is the purpose for this? Before we close, what would you advise? What would be your last word to our listeners, the government, the young people that want to change this world in terms of, apart from environment, what would be your advice as a queen that has the third biggest crowd in the world?
Okay, I'll start with just be authentic. Don't try to be what you are not, especially when you're joining a pageant. Just stay true to your values, and then try most of the time give yourself enough credit, because sometimes that is what we really fail at. We keep on thinking, what would I have done best to better the situation? It is achievement, no matter how small it is. Celebrate it.
Wow. Today was such a beautiful conversation. We're talking about Miss Earth, the lady in charge of this global warming, the lady that has for many years decided she wants to have a beautiful world, and the beautiful world starts at home. So she planted a tree many years. Every time she goes home, she can enjoy looking at the trees. The government is talking about tree planting. We're talking about tree growing. We need the government to talk to these young people and just find out how well we can grow trees and not plant trees. My viewers, thank you so much for just watching and giving us the opportunity to listen. The new classes podcast, we've learned a lot of stuff, and the only way we can survive is for you to subscribe. Let's see you next in episode 6 of season 2. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Asante sana.
Okay.